Well, as I said last weekend, the political commercials have ceased. And now a nation prepares to take a new direction in governance. It's vitally important for each one of us to remember that as a people of faith, as a people of goodwill, we're called to work together now to seek truth, justice, peace in our homes, our community, in our nation. In other words, come together. Some people are breathing a sigh of relief at the outcome of our national as well as local elections, even as others are experiencing anxiety about the future. Our path forward lies in our respect for one another and in the God-given dignity that we share, offered freely and with prayer, patience, kindness, and hope. More importantly, as I say every 4 years, our faith is not in a person or a political party, but in Jesus Christ himself. In the letter to the Hebrews, repeatedly reminding us not only that Jesus is Lord and sovereign of all, but he's also the high priest. One real day, he will return to make all things new. But in the meantime, as a man in radical solidarity with each one of us, he has entered into a sanctuary to appear before God on our behalf. Elsewhere in that letter to the Hebrews, we're reminded that Jesus is, at this moment, interceding before the Father for us. In other words, God is always faithful, and God knows what God is doing, and he is the author and prime actor in all of history. These are the things that we need to keep our eyes fixed on. And I have to admit, I have forgotten. God has proven his love for us by going to the cross, defeating the enemies of the entire human race of Satan, sin, and death. The Holy Spirit, through St. Paul, exhorted the Christians in Rome not to let the world squeeze you into its way of thinking. The Holy Spirit does the same for you and me today. So let us keep our eyes fixed firmly on Jesus, the Christ who called you by name, who welcomed you into his family, who shepherds us, who feeds us in Eucharist tonight. But let us also ask and allow the Lord to use us in this world as both examples of his recreative power, agents of that recreation in others, in politics, in sports, in education, in schools, medicine, law, and beyond. The widow with the coin that she puts into the collection is held up as a model for us. Why cannot we be as generous and full of trust as she is? Because that is the lesson that she basically had to teach. How full and deep is the trust we have in God and God's care for us. In that first reading, we also have a widow. Remember, widows had nothing. We have a widow who trusts in the holiness of a prophet, and she gives him the last of what she has on the prophet's word that God will take care of her. Both widows can be trusting and generous because they have come to know a God who is trusting and generous in their lives. So this week is a time to refocus, to trust in the God who breathed life into you and me, as I said, the God whom we will one day stand before to give an account of our actions. May God continue now to guide and strengthen us as we keep our focus on him.